Here's one blossom on a tree. It's like Find Waldo. I haven't seen this personally, not having any blossoms in the park. Making me wonder whether there's a sign or there's something else that's amiss that's going on with the park. Still seem like they're viable, but they shouldn't really be at this stage. They should be just either turning a leaf or just starting to sort of wilt. But they're all still very bright and green. The obvious answer is the weather, which we've seen in the past. The weather has a definite effect. But the way that the trees are reacting to the weather, as I've never seen that before. It's a little bit of a mystery. It's a little bit confusing as to what it is. But I guess part of my job now, as being the blossom enthusiast, is that see if I could figure out how to better predict it for next year or following years. Let's see. Pretty much all the trees we see with green, just replace the green with white. And that would be throughout the whole entire park, all the way up the path. I've sort of become the go-to person in Toronto when it comes to these cherry blossoms. In a way, it's strange. I know when I started the site, part of me thought, oh, it'd be great if, that I became sort of the cherry blossom expert for Toronto, but without any real background or any sort of real experience of that, I thought, that's a little bit far-fetched. Within a week of launching the Facebook site, I already had at least a dozen or so people interested. By 2013, all of a sudden I started seeing the numbers growing, and now I'm just getting close to passing 5,000 followers. And now that a lot of people have come to me, they kind of rely on me to sort of give them the dates or give them ideas of when to come out and see these blossoms. That's sort of a little bit mind-blowing for me now.
Sakura is a very important cultural symbol for the Japanese. It comes mainly from this idea that the moment needs to be valued. In the Japanese tea ceremony, for example, there is a phrase called ichigo ichie, one meeting, one opportunities. Two people meeting have to make sure that that meeting goes perfectly well because they may not have a chance to meet again. The Sakura cherry blossoms actually bloom for a relatively short period of time, and so they really have to appreciate it in that one brief moment. I think in Canada, more and more people are starting to see this as a sign of spring. The Japanese-Canadian community consider it a very important symbol of spring arriving finally after a long Canadian winter.
To see someone's gift sort of kind of dwindle and die, I mean, that's a sad thought in itself. I mean, Hyde Park just sort of wouldn't be sort of the same without having the cherry blossoms. In peak bloom, this park would be pretty packed. You come down and there's just a lot more life, a lot more energy, a lot more vitality. There would be barely any walking room, especially along the walking paths. You'll be shoulder to shoulder to people, and that would be going nearly from mid-afternoon all the way till sunset. It's sort of like your welcome screen to the spring. And without that, you kind of feel like something's missing, And that's the tough part about it. I've always been a fan of science and the scientific method. A lot of things you can discover just by observation, and then trying to find patterns and trying to find cycles and things. I knew that I would have to sort of document the process and figure out the timelines between the different stages and the different times to expect. When you start looking at them close, in the way when I shoot with my zoom lens, getting them nice and close, you see how delicate they are and how fine they are. A number of the buds that are still sort of just stuck in the second stage. At least this year, it's giving me a chance to know what goes wrong. But now that they haven't come out, it's like, okay, this is something different. This is something new for me to document and to try to figure out if there is some kind of pattern that I could figure out behind it, then maybe that could help for following years to help brace people for any other disappointment, which hopefully we won't have. I'll take a better shot here, I can show you. What we're seeing is the blossom, the actual flower, is actually bursting out of the bud. The bud itself looks like it's literally exploded out. So that means there still might be a chance. So that might be signs that these ones might have some flowers in the next few days, which I've never seen that before. That's really interesting. This year is looking to be a number of firsts. I guess that's all part of being the cherry blossom observer, tracking new things.